Little 4-year-old Athena was nowhere to be found. So it was clear that there was a huge amount of neglect happening inside this home, and this wasn't at all what anyone was expecting when that post office worker had called the police station that day.
First thing goes through my mind, kid got out of the house, playing in the street, playing in the yard. Parents probably didn't realize that the kid had got outside. Typically, that's the case whenever somebody sees a child outside. And then shortly after, I realized that we had a more serious situation. Nobody was around, no parents, no other kids, so then I realized that we had a more serious situation. And then once I realized the seriousness of it was out of our hands as far as resources go, that's when I asked OSBI to come down and assist us with it.
So Athena was named a missing person, and searches began almost immediately for her. And think about it, if Athena had been outside alone in the freezing temperatures, who was to say that Athena hadn't followed her outside and then maybe even gotten lost somewhere? The authorities assumed that in their search that the two girls had probably both been left home alone, which meant that Athena could have been missing for hours or worse, even days, and all of it would have been really difficult to tell. So they searched everywhere. They searched every neighborhood, every abandoned building, every abandoned home, hoping she would turn up somewhere. They were searching everywhere so much so that trash in the town was even temporarily stopped, hoping that maybe there would be some sort of clue within that, which, not to be grim, but the clue within that would have been if Athena's body had been left in a random bin somewhere. Now, something that really set people off was the fact that an Amber Alert was never issued for Athena. A missing and endangered person alert was sent out, but those two things are very, very different because an Amber Alert has a much higher reach, while a missing and endangered person alert will just send out the notification to those people who are local to it. And I understand that, yes, there are certain guidelines that need to be met in order to send out an alert, but also a missing child is a missing child. And if there are signs of neglect and her sister, who is also a 5-year-old, by the way, was also left home alone for a week, in my opinion, that warrants the extra alert. Especially since a local alert would really do no good if somebody had taken her to another state at this point. Everyone in town could be searching, yes, but nothing would come from it if she was completely gone and if she wasn't even in town. The missing and endangered person alert only went out to a 15-mile radius, which, again, does not seem like enough at all. The local authorities, though, claimed that the news outlets and the social media activity regarding the case made up for it and that would kind of make up the difference, but I don't see how. I can't really help but question if it really did.
To answer the Amber Alert question, there have been a lot of questions on the Amber Alert. The Amber Alert has specific guidelines that we have to adhere to push out the Amber Alert specifically. The Amber Alert goes out nationwide. So once we push that button, it goes all the way to Washington, D.C. and goes out like that. So there's specific things and guidelines that we have to follow. Not every part of that guideline came into play in this. And so that wasn't done. So the next best thing that we could do was a missing and endangered notification. That went out in a 15-mile radius in around where we knew that the person was missing. And so that's why you didn't get it statewide. Those emergency alerts didn't go statewide. It went locally, and that was really the important time frame that we needed to get that out. And it was pushed on social media. All of the news outlets were able to get that immediately. And so it was done in a very efficient way by guidelines. And there are reasons for those guidelines. The Department of Justice puts out those guidelines to help us put that together. And so that's kind of the answer on that.
Now remember, we know now that Athena and Adina were in the care of Alicia and Ivan. But again, none of that was legally declared in a court of law.